Welcome to all our Blog Talk listeners, our Blab viewers, and our website watchers. We appreciate you taking time out of your evening to join us on tonight's show. I am Laura Shay Stoutler Lovett, the owner of Coast to Diamond, and I am a healing transformation coach. I primarily help women who've experienced sexual assault through an emotional and healing process. And I am better known as Fire.
Yay, and I am Ice. I'm Jay, founder of Matters of My Heart, and Jay, the author. Matters of My Heart is an emotional support program that works with victims of abuse and domestic violence or sexual assault, and that's what we do. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight on the web, on our websites, on Facebook, or calling into the radio, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are so excited to, let me give you the microphone on the radio, Shane. Actually, I'm gonna have to keep you mute until you say something because I get background.
Got you.
I mean, I love to hear my voice, but yeah. But so back to everyone. Also, you guys, we have a special guest. She's been with us 2 weeks. I think we're gonna have to call her our third co-host for tonight. We have Juan joining us tonight. And her partner Johnny. Hi, Juan and Johnny. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, hello. We're doing great. Looking forward to talking.
Yes, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm so excited because tonight we're talking about Sheeple, and actually Juan brought this terminology up in our last Blab last week, and I didn't know what the heck it was. I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. So yeah, I am so excited because I've been waiting since we started blabbing to get into the conversation of church and what happens in the church. What are our experiences in the church? So without further delay, thanks everybody for joining us. Feel free to call into the radio show. I have that up. I have Blab up. We are doing it tonight. And so I'm watching, I'm still paying attention, but I'm watching the radio show. If anyone calls in, if anyone raises their hand and they want to say anything on the show, I'm going to be doing double duty tonight. So let's just jump right into the conversation. So Juan, since it's your terminology and you introduce us to it, why don't you start the conversation off tonight? What was your experience and where did you get that term from, Sheeple? You got it from the church?
Well, Sheeple, actually, I saw it on Grimm, actually. The TV show Grimm. But I heard the term before. It basically means people that blindly follow some doctrine, that was put out by someone. And as far as my experience in the church, it's been a little up and down. So I have been openly gay pretty much since my teenage years, and I've always also been in church. So although I was told by the sheeple in the church that my lifestyle was wrong and it was a choice, I knew in my gut that it wasn't, because I kept trying to separate myself from actually being gay and it never worked. So, but I also knew that God loved me because I read the word too.
Right.
So, my experience in the church has been kind of up and down. Like, I'm at a place now in my life where I'm not mad at the church. I do have a relationship with God on my own, which is what God directs you to do anyway, because you really can't trust someone to interpret the word of God for you, because everyone is unique and everyone's relationship with God is unique.
Oh, that's good.
So that is the term sheeple means that, despite what you really feel in your gut and you have that connection, you ignore that and go with what everybody else says. And, that is basically the meaning of the word sheeple. And I'm the total opposite of that. I've always been that person that questions everything.
That's good. I wanted to share the definition of sheeple. I like going to the Urban Dictionary. I don't know why, because it's, to me, maybe because it breaks it down to terms that I can understand, so like words I can understand. I need you to break that all the way down. You know, like it's like the Message version of the Bible. I can understand King James Version because I was raised that way. So I can understand that better than the Message. But the Message version of the Bible breaks things down so like way plain language that anybody can understand it. And even though I understand it, I get it more from the King James Version. But anyway, so I go to the Urban Dictionary when I want to see what we call things. And so sheeples, the definition of, first of all, Juan, I seriously thought you made that word up because that you are so notorious for making shit up. And so I'm like, dang, that's kind of cool. You know, people in the church, you know, that I got it. But then it's like, it really is a word. You didn't make it up. So then I had to take that, you know, that credit back from you because
I still take the credit, you know.
So it was something new, honey. I was like, sheeple? What?
Right. I never heard of sheeple, but I think it's brilliant. And so the Urban Dictionary says people unable to think for themselves, followers. And then there's a word I don't know how to pronounce or know what it means, so I'm not going to say it. And then it says those with no cognitive abilities of their own. I'm like, dang, that's kind of tough. But it is so prevalent in the church. I see it all the time, you know, especially those who maybe babies in the church, you know, they're just joining the church. They really want to give their lives over to God. They really want to do right. They want to live right and everything. And I remember when I first joined this church back in California, I was a single mother. I had no family in California. It was just me. And so I was a sheeple. So whatever this pastor told me to do, I did it. And it was so bad that when my daughter was growing up and she was like 2 years old or whatever, every time I went to a store, she would say, okay, mommy, what are we buying pastor today? Because the only time I went to the store was to buy him something or something for the church. I either went to church, work, or the store for him. That's the only thing I did. I didn't go partying. I didn't go to the clubs. I didn't go to bars. I didn't go anywhere except for those places because that's what he told me to do. And then it was so bad that I couldn't make a decision unless I ran it by him first. And I was a pastor's aide and I was heavy in the church. I was in church every night of the week. You know, we had Bible study. I was all over the place. But that was a true definition. I was a sheeple who didn't even know it. And then what I realized, and like he would tell me things like we couldn't listen to Kirk Franklin because Kirk Franklin was the devil. And you know, and I still like today, I feel so bad for never listening to Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin has a gift and he helped so many. He helps me now. His music is so inspirational. And I feel like I need to write him a letter and apologize that I judged him just because this is what my pastor told me he was a devil. And I believe that ish. See how, are you proud of me, Shay? I didn't say the word. I didn't say the word. I wanted to say the SHIT word. Isn't that bad? I spelled it out. I said it. Right, but I didn't say it, you know. But yeah, so and I didn't know that one. That's what I was doing. I was following him, thinking that as long as I did everything he told me to do, I would be under God's covering. I would be blessed, and I would go to heaven. So all I really wanted to do was go to heaven.
Yeah.
And so I thought if I did everything he told me to do, I did. And so when he began to, you know, govern or like craft his sermons around me, that's when I started like, am I really supposed to feel hurt when I come to church? Like, am I supposed to feel worse when I go home than when I first came here? Because the church is supposed to be your sanctuary, your place of peace, you know? And I kept feeling like every time I went home, I felt like I was the scum of the earth because he crafted his messages around how single parent, and you know, he would call me Jezebel. He would call me all kinds of things. Like I was in church to steal all the husbands. And you know what? The men in the church back then were like old and married. I was in my early 20s. They were like in their 50s and 60s and stuff like that. What the hell I'm gonna do with you, dude? You know, like
right.
That's how I was treated. And I thought as long as I continue. And I kept thinking, like, what can I do to be a better person so that I won't look like a Jezebel? You know, I wore skirts all the way down to my ankles. You would never see my skin. This red lipstick, I would never wear makeup, ever. I had to make myself appear less attractive so that I wouldn't tease the men in the church.
That's so crazy because that's on them. That ain't on you.
But
you can't help if you fine. That's it.
But see, I didn't know back then. I couldn't embrace my looks. I had very low self-esteem. And so I couldn't embrace who I was because he was telling me I was a tease and I was a Jezebel. I had this Jezebel spirit and I was put there to distract the men from being men of God. Man, I should mail them a middle finger right now, but then God won't like this.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it next week. Not do it next week. I'm trying to get to heaven. I don't know about you.
Right.
Like,
I'm trying to get there. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Because when I was in Okinawa, there was this church and it was pastored by a Marine and his wife was a civilian. And most of the wives in there were civilians, and I was a female Marine. And he invited me to his church, and I came, and of course I instantly connected with the males because we had a lot of things in common. I was a Marine, they were a Marine, so we had a lot more to talk about than me and the wives. And so, but I did talk to them, but they always like shooed me away a little bit. So I used to be like, okay, you know. But we went on this women's retreat, right? And they invited me, and I just felt kind of odd, but I went anyway. Like, at the time, I talked to my ex-husband. He was like, no, go. So I went, right? Now, mind you, my ex-husband didn't go to church with me. So when I went to this little retreat, they were like, oh, we feel like you're trying to take our husband because your husband never shows up, and you're always talking with our husband and you don't never talk with us. And I think was like, whoa, first of all, we have more in common. I'm a Marine, they're a Marine. We're usually talking about work. Secondly, when I try to talk to you, y'all always make it feel like I'm like, what is it? Like, y'all always make me feel like less of y'all. Like, I felt like I didn't belong with you guys. Wow. They were like, yeah, because you always come to church and you'll never have your husband and you always talk to our husband. I said, look, I don't want your husband. Right. They're not that attractive. Anyway, you can keep them because I have one at home. And if this is how you feel, I'm done. And I literally stopped going to that church. And then when like maybe a couple of weeks went by and I seen the pastor, and he was like, why you stop coming to church? What's going on, man? Everything all right at home? And when I told him what happened, he was really taken back by it. Like, I can't believe the women of the church came at you like that. And that was on their behalf. And then I just stopped going. I seen him around, always spoke, seen his wife. I even spoke to her. But I guess that Sheeple cloth never really fit me. Yeah. Because it was like, if I feel offended, I'm just gonna go. I'm done being in places where I don't want to be or feel unwanted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's crazy. Really.
Wow. So okay, let me tell you, when you were talking about the spirit of Jezebel, it reminded me of an incident that I had in church. It was this little offshoot church that my mother had started going to. The guy had kind of broken away from the church that everybody had kind of grown up in. And he was a, pretty strong dude, like very masculine or whatever. And, I said, I'm curious. I went to check it out. And he had an altar call and they were talking about the spirit of Korah, which is the spirit of rebellion, right? Yeah. So I didn't even know about that until that day. So he called everybody down to the front. And it was supposed to be trying to get people to speak in tongues and, get the Holy Spirit. Right. I've never spoken in tongues in my life. Mm-hmm. So for a while, I was pretty insecure. I was thinking, well, Dad, maybe I'm still going to hell. I ain't got the Holy Spirit. Right. right? So I was a little insecure about that. So I went up to the altar and everything, and he would go up to people and he push them, right?
Yeah.
And they fall out.
Right.
But I was a soldier, right? I was in the army.
You ain't pushing me.
Right, you ain't pushing. So I locked my knees. He came and tried to push me. And then when I went to fall, he was like, "Oh, you have the spirit of Korah." Because, okay, again, everybody knew I was gay. So he went in on me in front of everybody. Yo, I ain't break my stance, nothing. I just kept looking at him, and he just kept saying, "You have the spirit of Korah." He's trying to cast demons out of me. And in my head, I was just laughing. I was like, these people are crazy.
Yeah.
But I still refuse to believe, number one, that I had the spirit of rebellion, because I had pretty much asked God to take that away from me a long time ago. Yeah. But this dude and everybody else in the church just went along with what he said. Because he's a very charismatic dude.
Honey.
When he tried to push me down, I was like, yo, I'm done. It was just funny to me.
I mean, it's just it's so sad though. And I mean, the mothers in the church moaning and saying, Jesus, help her, save her. I'm like, I'm the only one in here that don't feel like I'm in the twilight zone. Like, what the hell is going on?
Exactly.
I was talking to Levi about that earlier. So I really wanted a minister on the call tonight because I really wanted someone who was ordained to give us answers as to why do they act like that in the church. Why is it that they have to single people out? And this whole praying on and laying on their hands, that's cool. But if that person that you lay your hands on, first of all, you better understand what transference of a spirit is. So you better understand that, first of all. But second, it's really about having a relationship with God yourself. So before I allow any man or woman who is called and ordained by God to put their hands on me, they probably have more hell in them than I do. So basically, when you touch someone, you're transferring your spirit. So you better make sure that you have the Holy Ghost and you understand this. And let me talk about Holy Ghost for a minute. Just because you don't speak in tongues, Ron, or anybody else that's listening, doesn't mean that you don't have the Holy Spirit.
True. I know that now.
I've spoken in tongues, honey. I was like the biggest hellion in the church and I spoke in tongues. That don't mean nothing. True. It used to, but it doesn't mean ish anymore. It really is about having that personal one-on-one relationship when when God speaks, it's not affirmation, it's confirmation. It's not something that you heard for the first time and it feels good and it makes you feel good and then you want to do it. No, it's confirmation because he already said it to you once before. So it agrees with your spirit. But if you don't understand what they're saying to me, and preachers used to say this stuff over me all the time. They used to prophesy over me all the time. Some things were from God and I received it. Some things I say, okay, well, thank you, God, that they saw that. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna put it to the side and let you work that out.
Right.
It's about that relationship. That's the bottom line. That's all I want to say. Sheeple is a dangerous place to be in. It is a dangerous place.
That's how people get caught up in cults.
Absolutely. But isn't that the same thing, though?
I have family members who choose.
Let me see. I can hear you.
I think.
Go ahead, Johnny.
That's a good question.
Johnny,
okay, I have family members that choose to be in cults because I know they know the difference because my mom raised us in a type of cult. Then she got freedom from the cult. And so she taught my sisters and siblings what it was like to be free. And my siblings went back to the cult because they needed that. They needed the rules. They needed that being held all the time, being in church 7 days a week. They needed
that structure.
They needed that structure, and they went back to that. And and all I can say, these are the same people who were the biggest hellions in the world, and now they are blindly leading. They are blindly following exactly what their pastors are saying. They can't do anything outside of what their pastors are saying.
Wow.
Crazy. They can't make any decisions. They can't do anything. if they have to ask their pastor for everything.
I've been there. I used to be like that. And at the time I was young and I didn't know any better. And all I wanted to do was, like I said, I just want to go to heaven. So tell me what I can do to get to heaven, you know, because I know I made a lot of mistakes in the past. So I'm trying to right my wrongs by, you know, doing everything that this pastor told me to do. Meanwhile, I said this in one of my Matters of My Heart speeches. I was really being molested by the church. And that's heavy, right? That's heavy to say that a church can molest you. But I stand by my word. I was being molested by the church. It happens. And it happens mostly when the preachers take advantage of the sheep. I remember one time I was sitting in church and I that was my cue to have left back then. But I was sitting in Bible study. This was Sunday school. The pastor stood up and he said, well, God is not going to talk to you unless he talks to me. He gives me the message and he gives it to you. I get it from heaven and I give it to you. He's not going to give you a message. He's not going to give you a message you sitting in the pew. He's going to give it to me. So basically he was saying, I'm God.
Right. And
what happened was when he said that, one of the ministers on his minister roster or whatever, he stood up, closed his briefcase, looked back at his wife and said, come on, let's go.
Yes.
If you think you're God, this is not the church we're supposed to be in. And he got up and left the church, and everybody in church was like, oh my God. If I had known now, if I known then what I know now, I should have followed him.
Right.
Because basically what this guy was saying, what this pastor was saying, is that God only speaks to me.
Right.
And that's how he had the power and the control over the members there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you should, it's, whew, and so this is why I really wanted a minister on the call with us, because I want to know, like, how do you know that this church is spreading, it's very unhealthy. You know that he's abusing his power. He's misleading the people. He's misinterpreting the Bible. But the people are still there. And there are some really innocent people. I think Sheeple, some of them just want to be ignorant. But some of them really in their heart, like me, I was young. I really wanted to go to heaven. What do you do with the people that are following them? And like you left because you got the revelation that this is not of God. What about those that stayed? Like, how do you help those people? How do you show them that this is really unhealthy? It's not of God. Or can I say it's not of God? You know what I'm saying? I'm being judgmental too.
Well, I think I remember back in the day, I used to watch Fred Price. That was like the first televangelist I ever watched. And he used to always say, read the text for yourself. Don't listen to me. Read the text for yourself. And a lot of people are lazy. They don't want to read the text. Even though we have 12 million translations.
I know, right?
People still act like the King James version is the only thing I don't understand. And they just rely on the preacher. So unfortunately, they are, like you say, want to be ignorant. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, the only thing you can do is, again, I try to explain to people with common sense. Okay, well, you know the word says X, Y, and Z, and either they receive it or not. Yeah. Some people are not ready to receive the fact that, you know, they're listening to lies. They like the lies because it satisfies something that they're missing, I guess, you know, or that they need. They think that they need the rules and regulations or whatever.
Sometimes it's self-abuse, though, too, because they already feel so bad about what they've done. Yeah. And they're getting reinforced in the church that they're unworthy, that they sin, that there's nothing. And so that they are so bad and that they need to be redeemed. And the only way they can be redeemed is by following this pastor. Yeah. Following this denomination. Yeah. That they are going to continue to follow.
So and
everybody is, bottom line, everybody wants to go to heaven.
Yeah, true. That's it. And I want, and I want to say this for our listeners and our callers and everyone who's listening. I'm not saying that all preachers are bad. No. I'm not saying that pastors should not be respected. I do respect them in their role as a pastor. But what I'm saying is go the extra mile and learn the word for yourself. Learn what a relationship with God is for yourself, because what that pastor is doing is supposed to be teaching you what the word is. But that relationship that you have with God should be a personal one, and it should not be guided by someone else. It's a mother in a church or whomever is leading you. Get to know God for yourself. That's what I'm saying.
So
don't
tell
lose
me this
respect for the man of God. Just shoot.
So the question I have is, do you feel like Sheeple defer people from having that relationship with God sometimes? Because like most people, when they go to church, it's so they can, because they want to get closer to God, or they're learning how to get closer to God. But when they run into these Sheeple and things, that could turn them away, and that can stop someone, or not even stop, that can prolong them getting a relationship with God. Because you want God, He's gonna come for you. He's gonna make a path. He's gonna give you free will to come to Him. But of course, there'll be roadblocks. So those Sheeples could possibly be stopping someone from coming to God.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, like, if I went into a church for the first time, I've never been there before, and I'm just visiting, I don't really pay attention to the members. I pay attention to how the church is structured. I pay attention to the pastor. Where is he doing praise and worship? That's important. I want to know, are you praising and worshiping too? I want to know where he is. I want to know how he is when after service. Are you greeting the people of God, or did you go back to your office, or are you, rushing off to I watch those things. I watch to see how connected he is with the people. And hey, I don't like big churches because I feel like I get lost in a large church. So I like that one-on-one, or like that small community. But then again, that's where, I don't know, I guess mess is everywhere. In a big church, small church, medium church, it is where it is.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. But I was talking to Levi tonight because I really wanted him to call in. I really wanted a minister's thing. And I was talking to him tonight, and he was like, you know what we forget as members of church.
Okay, who is Madhouse?
Madhouse Bull. That made me think of like the drink. But
he's from Chicago.
Okay.
He just said the ideal of a God is a childish.
The idea of a God is a childish superstition. Can you elaborate on that? Elaborate on that a little bit, because how I'm receiving that, you may get blocked. I'm just saying. Don't come in with no craziness. I just want to make sure that we understand what you're saying, because we all believe in God in this Blab. The people that are here now, we believe in God. So what are you saying? Anywho, I'm going to keep going. What Levi said was, what we forget as people is that when we go to church, we're going to.
For what reason should one believe in a
deity? Oh, this is the wrong Blab. This is not about do we believe in God and a deity and all that kind. We do believe that there is one God.
Exactly.
So we're not questioning if there is a God at all.
Judgmental people in the church who help defer, who could possibly stand in someone's way of gaining a relationship with God. It's not saying we don't believe in God. It's just saying that there's some people who could prolong a connection to God. So we believe in God.
We believe in God. We're talking about the things that happen in church. And so what Levi was saying is that what we forget is that we're going to church where everyone is sick. It's like going to the hospital. We go into the emergency room and we expect people to be nice, but you're going because you're sick, and you're going to a place that's supposed to heal you. but you're in a place that's filled with sick people. So,
right.
So when we go with the expectation that,
it's not
okay, lively. Okay, thanks. Right. Thank you.
Thank
lively
you.
Debate. I'm sorry, I was reading that comment. Thank you, right? Lively Debate. Appreciate that. So what I'm saying, what he was saying, and the point is that we forget that the church is a place of refuge, but only if you're well, then why would you go to church? You go there because you're sick and you're looking for help. You're looking for healing. You're looking for all these things. And so you're not the only one that's in that space. Everyone else is in that space too. So don't go with the expectation that they're going to treat you a certain way. They're learning the same thing that you're learning. And I'm probably saying it the wrong way because that's why I wanted him to get on and say it the way he said it to me, because I got it when he said it, but me interpreting it sounds all crazy to me.
No, we got it.
We got it.
No,
I mean, it's sick people there. It's, and unfortunately, well, as they say, hurt people hurt people. So
yes.
So if you're in the church and you happen to be, unfortunately, you might be in a place where you're still hurting, and you want to make yourself feel superior by, putting someone else down. Yeah. For instance, me being openly gay and going to a non-gay affirming church, girl, they look at me like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "I'm here, just the same way you are. I'm trying to hear the word of God."
Right. Yeah, you guys have you have it harder than, like, it's go both ways. You're gay, so they're gonna talk about you. I'm a Jezebel. I'm young and I'm sexy, so I'm a Jezebel. So they're gonna talk about. It's almost like they have to find a label of something negative, something wrong, in order for them to feel like, okay, I can help you now. Well, I didn't come because I have a spirit of Jezebel. I came because I just want to hear the word. I want to hear the choir sing, and then I want to go home. And if y'all have the chicken plates after the service, then I want a chicken plate, and then I want to go home. I just want it to be simple. Why can't church be simple? That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, because Jesus was simple. If you just go with Jesus, that's simple.
Look, but church that he what would they say about him? They might say you're old perverted man. I don't know. Yeah. People have to label. One thing I've learned: people have to label people to make them be okay with the situation.
True. Exactly.
They have to label people for themselves. And it's not even about you understanding me, or it's not even about you making me feel good. If that's what you gotta do, do it in your mind. Just don't let it come out your mouth, because then you might end up getting in trouble with me by telling me what's in your head, and I ain't asked for your opinion or what you thought of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep your things to yourself until I ask for it.
Keep your insecurity. But we're all there. We all have insecurities at some area of our life. Like me, I have an insecurity about my eyes. I think my eyes too tight and make me look Asian, and I'm supposed to be black. And so I have my own. Laugh at me. That makes me sad. I have
They call that Asiatic in the hip hop community. So you good? You still black? You just Asiatic?
No, she's not.
I have a condition, but I'm just saying that we all have our insecurities, but instead of trying to push everyone else down, why don't we build one another up when we go to that place? Discount our insecurities. And that's what I do with Matters of My Heart. In order for me to stay on my journey of healing, I have to work towards and help someone else on their journey of healing. That helps me. And I was saying this earlier to another someone else that I was talking to, I met on Facebook. I was like, if we could have a Matters of My Heart in every city, if we can join hands and join forces, against domestic violence, against sexual assault. We can actually eliminate it if we join forces versus fight against one another. No, this is my territory. This is my work. This is my clientele. You can't talk to my client and blah, 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 blah.
Oh
no,
my God.
If we can just really join hands on this one mission, we can eliminate it. And that's with anything that's bad in the earth. You talk about gun control. Well, have a gun control group in every city of the world. That's what I believe. And until I can see something different, that's what I'm going to continue to believe. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. So, and I was thinking earlier, Laura Shay, like I have you in Virginia, we're in Maryland. I have a friend in New York. I have a friend in Detroit. That's 4 states right there. We got Michigan, Detroit, Maryland, and Virginia covered.
Right.
Now I got another state.
You know, it just takes that one person who wants to make a difference and see something greater than themselves. And that's why we work so well together. We see something greater than ourselves. It's not about me and my shine. It's about the world shining. It's about the world knowing about the resources that are out there. It's about the world knowing that they can stop this. We just got to join forces.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we didn't know what Sheeple was before tonight, thank you for teaching us that. For one, you know, I love learning something new. And so now that I know that I was a Sheeple, maybe I need to write a book about that now. I got to do something with this knowledge that I just have. There's a new knowledge. You know how we are. It's like, okay, make a book out of anything.
Hey, that's
so
how
I put
you
a
do it.
question up on Facebook, like, do anyone know what a Sheeple is? And I had someone go, people who blindly follow others, celebrity mostly, without thinking for themselves. They believe that what that person says and does is golden. For example, and they give an example. Beyonce Beehive is beautiful. This is I'm reading it from here, seriously. And then it says Trump followers or idiotic Sheeple. Like, this is a Facebook friend's view. That's how she viewed it. That's what she says. I don't think it just belongs to celebrities. It might be known more through celebrities because they're in the limelight, but I don't think it's just it's just tailored to them. It's just because they're in the limelight, you see it more. So I don't know.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that B word. You know, B can drop. She can drop an album with no promotion.
Look, Beehive, don't come for me.
We do not want our show shut down.
Beehive, so y'all do. I'm part of the Beehive.
Right, don't shut us down.
Beehive, look, Beehive, don't come for me. I was just reading what someone said. If you want to go after that person, you go on Laura Shay's Love It page, find that question, look for that comment person who did that, and move on.
But that just brought up that's a very good question I just have now. What about her? What about Beyonce? What about Beyonce that has people so infatuated with her?
I'm not one of those people, so I can't answer.
Juan, you're a Beehive.
I mean, I like Beyonce. I like her. I watched her from the beginning to now, and from the first note I ever heard her sing, I was like, "Oh my God, who is that?" I love Beyonce. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's when I first heard that song when she was on the Austin Powers soundtrack. I was in like a store, and they were playing. I had to stop. I was like, "Who is that?" I could just tell the energy. Her energy was good. I just felt like she was, good. But in the beginning, as she started out, to me, being kind of ghetto, and I've seen her evolve into now, and I like the truth in her music. Although a lot of her stuff comes from other people, like she kind of spotlights a couple of Nigerian poets and stuff like that, other artists, and I like that about her too. Yeah. And even when I try to hate on her, the stuff just starts growing on me.
Yeah, I mean, like some of her songs really do have a great message, and there's some that's like the one where she was dancing on a chair. She was in a hotel room. And
yeah, that's what I was talking about. 7-Eleven.
That's 7-Eleven.
that's the 7-Eleven one, and where I used to say, I said I think that was a joke, and it just took off. I think she was in the room like, you know what, I could make a song about any damn thing. I put my hands on all that, and it just went viral, and that's what I think. That's why I like her, because I think that started out as a joke. That couldn't have been no real concept.
That could not have been, but it's so funny though, because like let someone else who doesn't have the notoriety that she has, does not have the platform that she has, come out with something like that, and they would be clowned. But this girl can do no wrong because she has that much power. It's almost like she has more power than the president.
Game on point.
Because she gives you ghetto and she gives you beauty at the same time. So some people like that. I like that. She gives you hood.
And what about the Kardashians then? What about them? We getting real deep tonight.
I can't say I don't like that. I respect their pimpology because they some straight pimps. I mean, mother. I respect that.
Chris,
but I don't like them.
Woo, that chick. I don't know where she learned that business ethic from, but that lady can make money out of anything.
Out of anything.
Yes.
Man.
That's called pimping. That's what that is.
It's called pimping. Business game. I respect their business game. I respect their hustle. You know, they're about their money. You know, they're not worried about what nobody is saying about them. And if they do work with people saying about them, they make money, right? Like they take
exactly,
and then they turn around off of it. So it's like whatever, you know. So,
but what makes them different from? So they have their own sheeple. Can we label the followers? Can we label the beehives as sheeple though, or can we label them as fans?
No, the beehive. They some shit. I don't know.
Nah, them sheeples.
Because they be going in. Like, they just take one thing and run with it.
Wow. They are serious about it.
Honey, they would threaten people over Beyonce. You don't have to do dirty work. They will do dirty work.
I saw on Twitter where someone said something against Beyonce, and all the beehives just kept posting these pictures of bees, like thousands and thousands of bees on his Twitter page. He could not get rid of them.
Better than George.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to look up George Clinton. I don't know him.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know the poem.
Oh wow.
Okay. Thank you.
But what about him? Please explain to us what do you mean in that, so that way we can get an understanding of what you're talking about. But yeah.
Okay. Like his fan base.
Okay, his fan base.
Like the Beehive, like the Kardashians, and then George Clinton. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think they just have charisma. Like, people just want to follow them. Now, George Clinton, I mean, basically, off the top, all I remember about his followers is they love to smoke weed. That's what he's known for. And he's really out there with the music. So,
yeah, he didn't care.
I think that's what
either. He did what he had to. He just made music. He just was artistic like that.
Well, like Prince. I love Prince.
Yes.
Right. Oh, he got some
weird as shit. Oh, I said
yes, you did.
Don't say weird.
But Prince was out there.
Prince folk don't come for you.
I know. Prince you talking about weird.
I love Prince.
Let's just say he was Prince. Like, that's all you can say.
Right, he was unique.
He's the one and only. Like, there will never be another artist like, and that's another thing with artistry. But okay, so now my question is, now that we're thinking the sheeple outside of the church. We're thinking about sheeple more celebrities, which are also called fans. So is that necessarily a negative thing or a positive thing if they're a sheeple? They could just be a supporter, a heavy supporter of the message that person is delivering.
I
don't know. I'm trying to.
I think they can become sheeple because they can become so blinded. I mean, if they could say, if Prince would have done the telephone directory, people would have bought that CD. You know, that's where the sheeple part comes in.
Yeah, like no matter what they do.
That would have, no matter what.
Yeah, I get that. I would have been the one.
agree.
Like, see, I don't go out and buy Beyonce's music. I just listen to it on the radio because they play it over and over and over again. I don't need to buy it.
Right.
They're gonna play it on every Pandora station. I don't need to buy it. But for Prince, I would get every record. I love Prince just like that. So it doesn't matter what. He could come out with frying eggs and eating toast. I'll still buy it, and I'll be singing and cooking eggs every day.
And that's how I feel about Jay-Z. Okay, I'm a Jay-Z.
Oh,
definitely. Whatever he say, I'm with it. I'm with it.
I know that's right.
So what about
let me check the time here.
What about what's his name? What is it? Creflo Dollar? Did I say it right?
Oh my God.
Creflo Dollar.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay.
I can't believe anybody follows him. I mean, the man's last name is Dollar.
I didn't know that. I knew you were going to go there. I did.
What about Mace? Like, I can't believe people go
Mace ain't a preacher no more. Mace not a preacher
He
anymore.
don't have ever been.
Well.
Why was he ever a preacher?
No, see, MC Hammer's a preacher, I heard.
Who?
MC Hammer.
Well, what?
Okay. All right, I'm about to go I'm about to go real deep on you now. I will admit I'm a sheeple when it comes to R. Kelly. R. Kelly can pee on me.
Oh my.
I'm just saying he can pee on me. Yes, he can.
Long
Long tail get
R. Kelly is a pedophile. So you might be out of his age range. You aged out like 20 years ago.
R. Kelly. Sorry. No ice. It's not working. No, it's not working. We cannot support
He's
R. Kelly.
extremely talented. I give him that. He can make a song about the phone book and it'd be good.
This man got 343 versions of Coming Out of the Closet. Come on. And I heard them all. I've listened to every single one.
The real deal.
I listened to every single one.
No,
I know it. I know the whole story. It is the bomb. That's
Blab viewers and website watchers, please cut out that 30 seconds of part that you just heard. Okay? You cannot support R. Kelly. That is not happening. Yeah.
He is a bona fide pedophile. Ever since
he's not a pedophile. He just like petite
Yes,
women.
he is.
He like petite women, Juan. That's all.
Oh, is that what it is?
Petite, like petite in middle school.
I am not. At least no, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. Listen, I think that was a one-time thing where he made a mistake, and he really learned from that mistake, and he hasn't done it since.
You haven't heard about it since.
He came out with black panties. Ain't no little girl wearing black panties. It's
Yes, they are.
Panties.
You know some little
Oreo
people like that.
I don't know.
Listen, if the parents are letting their girls wear black panties, shame on them. They should be wearing blooms or strawberry shortcake. Kiara was in strawberry shortcake panties since she was 16 years old. Strawberry shortcake, and then that's only because they stopped making them in a large size. And then I had to go over to some regular
closet again.
No, it is so hard to find clothes for little girls. That's
appropriate. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
That's age appropriate.
I agree.
So they are making these little girls grow up so fast. So yeah,
Strawberry shortcake panties. I should make them and sell them. I should put that in the store. No, I can't put it in the store.
You need to.
Okay, so we have everyone, all of our listeners and callers. We have 10 minutes left on the call. We want to open the floor to any questions that you may have. You can type it into the chat box or whatever. Are there any questions?
Blog
we want to open it up to everyone.
Open it up. You are now live. You can go ahead and ask your questions, say your comments. All we ask is that you just be respectful.
That's all. We appreciate the respect, or you will get blocked. Gangsta. And you're supposed to be fire, but I'm acting like fire right now.
She's like, own it.
Listen.
Cold like ice.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So do we have anyone who wants to ask a question? No,
you don't have any questions, I'll be calling.
Don't be shy.
I thought this was a great conversation, and I think next week we have Laura Shea and I were talking about definitions, defining the terms that we use a lot, such as rape, molestation, sexual assault, abuse, defining those words. Since we were on this definition path, we started one, kicked it off with us for Sheeple, but now next conversation is going to be a little bit deeper, a little more touchy-feely.
Yes.
And so we really want to define those terms, but also, Shay, this is going to be the first time hearing it because I thought of it today. I also want to talk about false accusations.
Oh, I think that's a show by itself.
I think so too.
We can.
I think so too. I think I want to, like in the beginning, we can talk about definitions, but in the second part, perhaps talk about what happens when women make false accusations of being raped, because that really taints the ones that are really raped. That's probably why we victims get the treatment that we do. Well, you shouldn't have worn that, and you did this because of those false accusations. So I want to cover that on the next show. What do you think?
That's going to be really deep, because
that's a good topic.
It's like when you know better, you do better. So when people actually know the information, it's now you have no excuse. And I think that's part of the I know that it's part of the reason why we have the stigma of the rape culture and things like that. It's because they don't want to know better. Because if I don't see it, I don't hear it. I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, that could be interesting. I'm ready.
Oh.
Great. So any last words? We have about 5 minutes left into the Blab. Any last words? Encouragement, acknowledgement, any projects that's coming up you guys want to announce tonight? Now would be a good time. I'll start with our co-guests who have been with us for the past, this is your second time back to back. Juan and Johnny, any final words that you want to say to our community, our guests, our listeners?
Don't be a sheeple. That's it. Don't be a sheeple. That's the in a nutshell.
Yes, don't be a sheeple. Know what it is, and then don't be that.
Exactly. Don't be a sheeple.
That was good.
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Don't do it.
Is that a drop the mic moment? Don't be.
Yeah.
Bam.
Right, fire.
For our new listeners, we like to have fun. We like to laugh. As Ice always say, laughter is good for the soul, and I so agree with that. It really helps you to laugh your pain away, laugh your way through healing, because it releases like chemicals in your brain when you laugh, because it helps you to release stress. So we like to end with joking moment, joke here and there, because we do talk about heavy topics. So don't be scared. We just love to laugh.
Amen. I just said that in church. I thought I was in church for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Amen.
And so we're going to end the call a little early tonight. We're 4 minutes in, but we're going to end a little early night. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate all of those who are watching, whether you're watching from afar or whether you're watching near. We know that you're out there. We know that you're listening. We know that there's something that we're saying because you keep coming back every week. And so we don't take that lightly. We appreciate it. And that's why Fire and myself, Fire and Ice, we started the whole radio thing because we really wanted to reach and expand our reach. We wanted to be on a platform where we're accessible. That's my goal over the next 30 days, is to become more accessible. So whether that is doing more blog talk radio shows, doing more blabs, making myself more accessible to you. That's what is important here, because the thing is like, you're not alone. And if anyone knows about pain, I do have a PhD in pain. I have a doctorate in pain. I know it all too well. I recognize it. I know the symptoms, but the key is I know who can heal me, and that is my faith in God. So thank you for listening tonight. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Good night.